Alright, we are heading into our last best of three series here.
Ah, and it's so fitting playing on Bunny Research Station once again. We've had some great games on this map. Lando versus World is Doom. I expect Mr. Lando to go mech again, but we'll see. He went mech against Chimera earlier in the best of three map for the first map. And yeah, this is going to be great. I think, one, Mr. Lando, I mean, he just has the mechanics of just being a solid all-around great player, but I have to say, right now, today, World is Doom is playing really, really well. So I expect a really high level TBZ, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and as we've said, it's always nice to end the cast on a TVZ. Definitely something with high impact moments, with the potential for Baneling connections, drop play, things of that nature. But spawning in the top position, we're presenting a relatively newer addition to the CTL, Paragon of Perfection's very own World is Doom, hoping to join his captain in the round of 16. But here to deny him,
He is playing for all inspiration. Lando, the ace, the Terran player in the 6 o'clock position. Playing with the Periwinkle, I'm going to say. Would you say Periwinkle, Cole? I think Periwinkle, right?
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
A light pinkish purple color. My least favorite Terran color. Looks good on Zerg, though.
Do you have the drone?
Yep, doing some
Doing
harassing.
some
Nice.
scouting. Checking for any possible silly shenanigan 2-racks nonsense, so sees that that's not the case and is content with that, so he's fine with starting this hatch.
Yep. And looks like a 12-12 coming out of our Terran player. We expect a Reaper. The real question is he going to go to 3 Reapers like he did versus Chimera? And yeah, we'll find out. Now, the 3 Reaper style play is nice. It gets a CC a little earlier, but it did not delays the factory and Hellions a little later. But with the 3 Reaper, during the mid game, you have like 4 to 6 Hellions. If you can maintain and keep those 3 Reapers alive, there's a lot of pressure you can put on the Zerg player.
Oh, absolutely. And as I've said before with Mutas, Reapers are also worth their weight in gold pretty well any point in the game up to mid, late, and late game. You need to keep those Reapers alive so that your later Hellion timing attacks are even more potent. So obviously a little difficult to macro and micro at the same time, so we'll see how he does with this, and if World is Doom buckles to some Reaper pressure and he's able to snowball.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Reapers just provide you with map presence, awareness, and pressure, right? Just having Reapers and Hellions out in the front and taking that space, especially on a map like Bani, it's like, okay, I know for a fact my Reapers and Hellions are at the forefront, that I have no pressure coming until like Lings first attack my Hellions and Reapers, and then have to go all the way across to the bottom of the map. And it allows the Terran to just feel safe, expand, do a lot of macro-oriented things that they wouldn't be able to do if they didn't have the map pressure or presence that Hellions and Reapers provide.
Yeah.
And it's kind of why every opening usually has some sort of variation of amounts of Reapers and Hellions.
Yeah, this Reaper taking some risks but does not go down. Does force a completed score. That's a little unusual. Maybe the Zerg player feeling the pressure, not
Yeah, I
getting
think
the cancel.
that's a mistake, just a late cancel on the Zerg. But, I mean, it'll come into play, it'll be useful later.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Banshees will be made, so.
Oh yeah, not game breaking by any means, but definitely awkward and not ideal. Third Reaper coming into position here, and at this point, as you said, this is when it starts getting hairy. Some Ninkazi style Reaper clicking does shoot the bricks here.
Yeah, but he's got that queen down to health, and it's just chipping away, and those Hellions are just going to gain health back and keep on going at that queen until it's dead. World is Doom's job is to make sure it doesn't die. We do have a second queen going to pop. That's going to help a lot to make these Reapers go home. And the Reapers actually go home. I kind of wish that the Reapers went up on this cliff and then went to the natural. But
yeah, also
it's just me.
I'm similarly unsure of why these Reapers have been benched here.
Yeah, I feel like I said earlier, like the map presence of them out on the map, they could have denied this third for a little longer at least.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
with them gone, I don't know. But yeah. Oh, there is some shenanigans. Oh, it's just an overlord going down in the middle of the
Yeah,
map.
that's I don't know.
A great scout actually. So this is the time exactly you want to do. He's gonna see the build laid out right in front of him. Around 6:45, you want to fly that overlord in. A lot of times there's some hellbat timings that the armory goes down around 6:30 to 6:45, so that overlord would have picked that up. And also, now he knows it's going to be cloaked banshee. He knows that it's going to be cloaked banshee hellion. He also knows that this third CC is done, which means that it's not going to be an armory. Um,
Yeah.
so he knows exactly what's going to happen, basically.
There's a potential that by moving these Reapers back, he might have mind gamed this Zerg player into not having as much defensively as he needed to for this
Yeah, for sure.
strong Hellion attack.
There's
He's just getting a lot accomplished here, and the drones are having to be pulled. He had just made a fresh round of drones. Ling's nowhere on the horizon.
I mean, 3 queens go down. That's a huge loss.
It's gonna affect the creep spread, absolutely, but I'd have liked to have seen more drone kills than queen kills here.
If he would have gotten this, oh, did he? Are there? Oh no, he didn't. So there is 1 queen alive for this inject, and that's a huge deal. If he could have gotten every single queen, worth it. But because I think 1 queen survived, I'm gonna say like you're exactly right. I mean, 3 queens is 600 resources, but another queen pops, he's gonna have injects on all his hatches that are viable, except the third. So, yeah, pretty good. Oh, queens aren't 200 minerals apiece anymore. I forgot.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything until like the 3rd time. So Hellions are denying these Lings, so off the back of those defensive Lings not getting a lot of mileage, is starting a lot of defensive structures to deny these Banshees, so
Did they used to be 200 minerals? I don't
Can't-
remember.
can't comment on that.
Yeah, okay.
Saturation being delayed for the Zerg player, Terran player morphing in Hellbats, so he's running stuff across the map in an attempt to apply some pressure here.
Gonna have to cancel that spine, which was the only defense at the third. That's
Yeah.
sad. There are banelings in play with some links. I think he's gonna be able to save this third. We'll find out.
He's
Well,
waiting.
there's-
He's waiting for them to morph. Arguably not the incorrect decision, but again, he just waited. He needs to
with this-
target fire. It doesn't matter. The Banshee's gonna get it.
Yeah. Sadly. Especially with the spore not moving.
Decent surround with the broodlings. Our Terran player's eyes elsewhere.
Yeah, this cloaked banshee's gonna take some damage.
Absolutely. But you know what? He denied the third. Zerg player is on the back foot. Some wonky injects happening here. But yeah, Terran player starting his third. Zerg player still on his second. So Zerg player is reeling from this aggression here, and he's going to be sending a stream of Lings. And all of these Lings made defensively when he thought he was on death's door are not drones, and they need to be drones. So it's questionable
definitely.
how much mileage he's going to get out of this. And these Hellbats are here and they're ready. So I don't see this doing as much as he needs it to do. Yeah. Needs
He's
to
gonna
raise
try to
this.
go.
There you go.
Yep, he does. I mean, like you said, and it's just so hard for the Zerg player to know when the Hellbat pressure is gonna stop, right? So
Yeah.
he did kill all those things, but who's to say that like 4 more Hellions are going across the map, right, just waiting to turn into Hellbats? Because it's just like that could definitely have happened. He could have continued the pressure, and he would have definitely needed those Lings. The Zerg player is really forced to make all those Lings no matter what. I think it's just in a bad position.
Yeah, absolutely. All these Lings maybe could have been drones. So a sad life of a larva that now has to run around the map and then get toasted. When he could have been chilling in Zerg manner, getting
Yeah,
some
sure.
dank crystals. So
Banshee's still alive. It's going to go back into the natural of the Zerg player. But we do have spores. Roach is being popped. So we do have a small transition to Roach play from our Zerg player.
yeah, and
Roach is-
obviously Roach is the logical decision here, off the back of such persistent Hellbat pressure. So.
Now, earlier we saw this very similar, strange Marine Hellbat composition. This time, though, he is incorporating two Widow Mines. Yeah, this is very strange to me, but interesting. But Lando keeps on doing it against Zerg, so we will see how well it works out against World is Doom.
I think he's gonna position, posture, set up Widow Mines, wait for these other two Widow Mines to get here, and then he's just gonna bait the Zerg into bad engagements and apply the kind of soft pressure that snowballs into hard pressure, into economic damage.
Yeah, as weird as it seems, though, these 4 or 5 roaches are going to be exactly what he needs to do well in this game.
Yeah, and our Zerg player watching this parade push happen, so he knows that this is only the beginning, and he starts morphing in a huge round of Banelings because he knows that there is more and more coming. Some drops loading up. Probably going to go for a multi-pronged attack here. A lot of Banes here, so he probably feels that this is lethal damage incoming, and the Terran player content to have forced these units and is just gonna elect to play with the drop. Is denied, however.
Oh man, look at supply. It's a little misleading because a lot of that supply is in Marine, which isn't the best supply that you want. Mine's not really doing that much. Could have been terrible, but they do deny the 4th, which is big.
Mm-hmm.
The Zerg needs to take this fight.
Oh, and that, if he'd have kept rolling into that,
I think it'd been alright. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I much would have rather him staged out, surround on creep. That's
exactly.
Just me.
I think he is gonna go for the big money. This is Roachbane Corruptor play from our Zerg.
Yeah, this is really strong against heavy Marine composition, which is what Lando has.
Definitely some good pre-splits, so...
Terran army's kind of barreling down. This is getting interesting. The Zerg player needs to defend this. You can't take any critical damage, but the problem is the splits are so good, it's going to be super hard for our Zerg player to break out of this.
There
and
is
the
a drop.
Yeah, because Corruptors really should be taking out these medevacs. You can't just let them get away to re-pick up. I mean, the purpose of building the Corruptors is so you can just annihilate the medevac count.
Yeah.
And now the Terran player has seen that it's Roachbane Corruptor and is adding tanks in, and it's going to make it so much harder for our Terran player to deal with this. Especially if you're indecisive, which he is. And now Terran player has like an 80 supply advantage, and it's just going to snowball from here.
Yeah, the 4th being established, and it's a planetary to prevent run-bys. Setting up a heavy siege. He has a Marine in place to deny, and there it is, the hatchery being placed by the Zerg player. So Marine in place to deny this. Heavy encroachment here. He intends to starve out this Zerg player.
Yeah, it's like a boa constrictor snake just slowly squeezing the life out of our player. Really smart, patient play from our Terran player.
Absolutely. The drone being denied the hatch here, and there's no chance of the Zerg taking this base here, so the Zerg player are going to slowly be starved out. I expect this to be a planetary, and he's just positioning
One
very
thing that he
aggressively.
could do is just be patient, go to layer or go to hive and get. Or no, do you need brute layer or do you need hive for broodlords?
Mm-hmm.
You do, yeah. I mean, he could go to hive. I mean, do you need hive for broodlords? Is what my question is. I'm not even sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean that's one thing that he could do with these corruptors if he's too patient. But look, I mean, look at this planetary here. Like, it's just gonna be so difficult for a Zerg player
Oh, absolutely.
to break out of this contain.
Yeah, and the Zerg player, realizing the situation, starts moving across, and he's going to try to pick up these reinforcements and know that there's no substantive army here. So yeah, he's making the correct call in this really tough situation. So this heavy line is going to have to be moved. However, Planetary's still standing. Widowmine's still here.
Oh,
So,
Lings get in, but there's so many Banes. I kind of wish these Banes were Lings. They're not really gonna do that much in this fight. I think he was expecting more of a force back home. You know?
yeah, well, he had to go for broke on this one. So,
Yeah, these Bane hits, not good at all. Really good splits, really good for Lando.
yeah. I mean, how good are Bane hits going to be at this level off creep?
Yeah, agreed.
So,
Is there Bane speed? There's Bane speed, right?
yeah. He's doing what he can. He's applying as much pressure, but he knows he's mined out in the main. The second expansion already dwindling. He has to know that that was his last big stand and gonna go for this planetary, but the GG, yeah, there it is.
Patient, scary play from Lando.
Absolutely.
That's gotta be frustrating to play against.
Absolutely. Alright, next map is looking to be Echo. So, very, very meticulous play from the Terran player. Did what he needed to do to starve the Zerg player, which is how you win. He just did what he needed to do, executed well, applied the pressure, snowballed into a strong offensive position, and then just pounded home. So, did what he needed to do there.
Yeah. We'll see how the Zerg player adapts. He knows Lando's style. He knows he's going to probably do the same thing. Yeah. And Echo, a very similar map. I think that we might, I don't know, we just see some minor adjustments from World is Doomed that are going to definitely benefit him in this game. I expect this game to be a lot closer.
Yeah. I think so as well. Oh boy, it is our potentially last game of the evening. Yeah. Should Lando win?
Beautiful cast with you, Kobo. Thanks again.
Okay, now is when you could say that.
It's been a beautiful cast with you so far, Kobo. Thanks for casting with me. And yeah, this could be our last match of the game. Potentially. We'll see.
So the player seeking to not make this the last game of the night, wanting to claw his way into a 2-game victory off the back of this game, spawning in the top left position, it is going to be Paragon of Perfection's World is Doom.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of our map, playing with the periwinkle-colored trunks, for all inspiration, we have Lando. Mr. Lando, sorry. Honorable Mr. in front of his name. Yeah, so Echo is a great map that we've talked about a lot. Interesting things. There is this Reaper little cliff here for early game shenanigans for Reapers to fly, but I feel like Zergs just know that you're going to be there, so they kind of camp out of it. So most Reapers actually go up the little ramp in the natural. I feel it's a lot safer as a Terran player to do that. So as a Zerg players, if you're listening to this, I'm going to tell you that most Terrans are not going to actually use the obvious Reaper cliff just for that manner. And you might want to switching to your Zergs, at least having 2 over on the other side of the ramp. And now there is like a kind of a large area for people to go up, but usually Terrans will take the route just up the ramp. Safer.
Some sage words of Terran wisdom from our Terran player here.
15 hatch.
Sir, going with a standard opener. 15 hatch. Gonna see a pull here shortly thereafter.
Now, early game, I wanted to talk about this. Did you hear about the the Easter egg on this map? If you look at the natural and actually every expansion, there's like a little sequence, and it's actually a little. It's apparently it's like a game. I was reading about it, but I didn't read too much about it. But they're like each one represents a different sequence. Really interesting. The little symbol on the mineral, like in front of the mineral patch. Did you read about that, Cobalt?
No. I didn't.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like a mathematical game of sequences about what could be next, the patterns and stuff. It's kind of cool.
It's just a pattern.
Yeah. But it's more of like, with this pattern, you're supposed to play a game like then the person's supposed to write something else, and then you have to figure out a sequence. I'm not exactly sure, but more or less the creators of the map really liked the game, so they included some pictures from the game in the map, which is really neat, actually.
No, that's cute. Some good-natured banter coming out of our players here. So
Oh, I didn't even read it. I'm gonna look.
some
Oh, two
casual
racks.
banter, but we do see the command center coming down off the back of this Reaper. Zerg player is gonna scout it, so he knows what's up.
Yep, and once again, 3 Reapers getting made from the Terran player.
Ooh. A bit of a long swing there, but the queen's still a second off. No surround is got, so...
Ooh, actually, nope. 2 Reapers, he decides. Goes straight into reactor after 2 Reapers. A little delay on making that reactor. He could have done it 28 gas ago, but that's okay. Ba-ba-bum.
Gonna get some chip damage in on this queen.
Queens are some, like, they're interesting creatures, man. Like, looking at the design, at how big they are, how they waddle and move, I really like the animation for the queen.
He needs to be careful with that one Reaper.
Yeah, it's very low.
Yeah, 2 hits away.
We do have a starport 111 going down. No third command center. This looks like that other variation that he was doing with a slightly earlier Hellbad Banshee timing. Last game, instead of making the starport, he made the third CC. So this game, there is that slight variation that's going to have earlier aggression. Just a slight bit earlier, maybe a minute earlier, 30 seconds earlier. But, I mean, just adapting that, World is Doom is going to feel a little safer when he's actually not as safe. So these small adjustments to your play, getting 2 Reapers instead of 3, will actually change the tempo of the game and make it a lot different. Especially in a best-of-3 series, it's really nice that Lando has this in his sleeve, that he can do that, because they look very similar, right? But they are very different.
That's true. Zerg player feeling more safe following Speed's completion does start pretty standard timing for his third. So the spine and the third are building, so he feels pretty safe defensively. Bane Nest coming up as well. Some standard defensive measures, and it's gonna be well thought out, as the Terran player is gonna come back for this offensive timing attack. However, this Overlord is gonna spot pretty well all of this. Sees the tech lab whirring, sees the Banshee coming out, so he's aware of what's coming.
One thing that he does see is that factory lifted off. It stopped making Hellions, which means that although the aggression he of course knows is incoming, he knows it's going to be Hellion Banshee, he also knows that if he stops, it's not going to be reinforced. So that's really important that he picked that up.
Yeah. Big Baneling morph coming in, and
He's going to need this
spore in place, so...
Where is the spore on the outer? There is. Oh, there is a spore. Okay, right there. He doesn't have one though. Really needed. I personally think where the spine was built, that's where you build a spore. Also, I think that it provides your army a little staging point to go back and forth from.
Some back and forth here. Spore starting on the third.
Armory is done, so these could be Hellbats if he wants, but I think that he's just gonna poke. He's not going to really engage anything here. He just wants to get some free kills.
Ling's looking for a surround, do back off. Take 1 Reaper, however.
Oh, nice
that
transfuse.
Banshee needs to get out of there.
That was a sick transfuse. I really liked that from World is Doom. Played a lot crisper this game. This command center is going to finish up in about 30 seconds, a little later than normal. So the economy for the Terran player isn't going to be as good as last game. It's still going to be pretty damn good, though.
Still poking around here with this force. Probably going to try to do some damage. Is repelled with these queens here and this Baneling force. Looking for a surround, gets punished for it. Terran player is macroing behind this, using the third CC to pump out SCVs. And
Yeah. Surprised it's not making it into an orbital just yet. He is going into bio with this transition. Lando went mech against Chimera, but this game he's decided to go bio. Nice transfuses on the Queens once again. Now, he's keeping this alive. Very mobile force when they're Hellions and Reapers. Doing a great job. We've got some low Banshees, low Hellions, but still keeping them alive. Keeping the pressure up. It makes the Zerg kind of not feel that safe, really.
He's keeping the pressure on, but you have to look and see that the Zerg player has saturated all of his bases, and he's going to saturate these 2 extractors. The Spire, which has been scouted,
ooh, and the Banshee goes down.
Mutas.
This is going to be a surround here. Ooh, nice Hellion shots.
Yeah.
Tried surround. The Banelings are just too slow. Off creep. He would have liked it maybe a little more lings for that surround.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's a lot of value. Yeah.
And now he's gonna correctly fight with Queens.
Zerg player deciding that he's had enough of this says, you know what? If you want to keep fighting me, then that's fine. I'm gonna move across.
Great. For him to deny the third like this, he's gonna get some SCV kills, I think, if he goes after them. Banelings slowly walking across the map. We're gonna arrive just in time.
Oh, those Banes on the Marauders, not so efficient. And he does run in right into this Bioforce, however. So he got a little kill lusty. He said,
I would have much rather him take out SCVs the third.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He was looking for the pod at the end of the rainbow, which was all those SCV kills in the main.
Big bank from our Zerg player.
Yeah, you have to know what he's spending this saving this bank for. He's angling for that Muta transition.
Yeah, it's just not enough gas though.
Absolutely. He's had to spend pretty heavily in Banes, so he's going to be getting those Mutas out shortly. Does start the T2, does start upgrades for Mutas, so...
Terran going across the map, some SCVs on a smoke break in between bases.
Yeah.
This is great. Great map awareness, or just game awareness, because I don't think he knows for sure that this fourth is there, but he's got a pretty damn good idea. He's going to...
Oh, absolutely.
Cut it down.
Zerg player is starting to build up a healthy force of Mutas, so he's gonna angle for a Ling run by, I think, here, and gonna try to execute on that and keep the Terran off of him while he can get some Mutas up. Picking up a nice little, picking up a nice unit.
Yeah, some of the reinforcements, get them. That's nice.
Definitely.
Pulls the whole army back. What's some breathing room, but this fourth is going to go down from the pressure of the Banshee, and that's
huge stream of Zerg forces coming down the map.
Is he going to save this?
This Banshee is going to go down. Yeah.
Saves the fourth. Nice. This fourth's really important for the Zerg.
Oh, absolutely. This Terran army is going to intercept these Banes. Oh, nope.
This Queen's working hard, trying to get that creep to the fourth. It's going to make it a lot easier to protect, but with this Marine Mine composition coming down, this is make or break right here.
Does cancel the fourth. Realizes he can't defend it.
I think very smart.
Yeah.
But he's angling his Ling Bane army for a nice surround. This is really important. If he can catch this army without the mines down, it could be a big deal.
Yeah.
And he's just going to try to base trade, but he goes straight into mines. Ooh, the mine hits. Not
those
terrible.
Worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terran army a little out of position here, but the Zerg army not realizing what it's doing or why it's here.
Yeah, it's sandwiched between two armies.
Yeah.
Never good.
Oh, and the Mutas just get shredded. That is a painful loss. Again, the Zerg player just didn't know why he was here. Like, initially it looked to be to cut off reinforcements, get a flank, but he just lost sight of why he was there.
What he wanted to do was go poke to the front and then know that he was going to have to pull all those guys back and that they would be out of position, then he could just run over the retreating army. But instead he tried to kind of fight both at once, and then he got shredded by both at once. I think if he would have made a feint at the front of the base and then went back to swarm and surround the retreating forces, it would have been much better.
Oh yeah, definitely. And 3-3 on the way here for the Terran. Terran army moving across to deny the Zerg this crucial mining base. Good pre-splitting. Good pre-splitting. Yeah.
There's just not enough Zerg here.
There's not enough Zerg here. And honestly, the mutas need to not be here fighting the... Oh, wow.
And,
These
I mean, the Zerg player
think-
knows that it's desperate.
Oh, he just lost like 5 mutas.
Yep.
Those are so expensive, especially where he is economically right now. That is a painful pill to swallow.
Oh, I love how strong eggs are. 30 Marines shooting at one egg that is indestructible.
Yeah.
It's great.
Terran taking his 4th, knows the Zerg is stuck on pretty well close to 2.5 here. So,
Yep. Minerals running out in the main, and now the Zerg player is on a timer.
Exactly.
He's been on a timer for a while, but it's gonna be even more prevalent.
Starting
game
turrets
progresses.
here on the fort though, so he's starting to respect the muta play. Obviously, the mutas weren't able to achieve much when they were in the Terran's natural, and he did not create a lot of missile turrets in response to them. So it's he's not getting what he needs out of these mutas, and these mutas are not going to be able to fight the
Two mines
Terran player.
being really annoying, delaying the 4th even longer at both mine bases. Finally taking one out. Oh, another Marine almost delaying that construction.
Absolutely, and he's angling to deny this once again.
Now this is going to be the big fight of the game right here.
The pre-splitting is good. Unfortunately, no creep in this direction. As vital as this is, there needs to be some creep lapping at the edges of these bases here.
And that mine is still there, delaying the 4th.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he's completely content to force the
Stand through
Zerg
bases,
player, to respond to him. So he's got his 4th. He's got his upgrades. He is chilling. Completely chilling. And a lot of army value is being used in these mutas, and these mutas are not doing the damage they need to be doing economically, and they're definitely not able to fight here.
Alright, Baines.
Decent engage. Needed to wrap around a little stronger though, and eventually the splitting does force this back.
60 supply lead for our Terran player.
Absolutely. What was initially a really favorable situation for the Zerg player has just kind of snowballed into this untenable position, wherein the Terran player has superior upgrades, superior economy, and the Zerg player does not have that crucial 4th anywhere in sight. Main is mined out. This is looking again to be another, well, as you said, boa constrictor situation. Does move some overseers here, takes that mine eventually, and says, you know, this area has creep spread, maybe this is the better call. Oh, the muta is flying straight into that bio. And
Minefield setup. It's gonna be so hard to engage.
And the Zerg player,
Both Maniac Jace and Lister Lando do a great job of setting this pre-split minefield up, and then only having like 8 or 10 Marines out in front, baiting the army to go through, and then once they get killed, and doing, I mean, like trading really effectively with just 8 or 10 Marines, then another 8 or 10 go forward, and another, and another, and another, and it's just making the Zerg, like, make mistakes.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And just...
And he does go in for it on the creep. Not the connections that he needed, because a lot of his army supply is in these mutas that are not able to engage this force.
And that's GG.
And the GG is called.
And Mr. Lando moves on.
Yeah, it looks
Both
to be
Terrans